So let's bring in House Minority Whip Steve Scalise, who objected to the Electoral College results and voted against the latest impeachment. Good to see you this evening. Congressman Scalise, thanks for being here. What goes through your mind when you listen to that?
Good to be with you, Martha. Well, you know, Martha, the disappointing thing there is that is the playbook of the cancel culture socialist left. You know, they don't want to talk about issues. They want to just demonize the opposition because their ideas are very radical. I mean, you know, the things they talk about, you know, taking away people's rights, the Green New Deal, raising taxes, all the things that they really stand for, they don't want to talk about publicly. So they just want to demonize the opposition, cancel you on social media. Those are the things that are the classic tactics of the cancel culture. I think people are fed up with that. You know, let's focus on actual things that matter to families, not trying to demonize someone who disagrees with you on issues.
So for all of the discussion about, you know, it was going to be 20 members of the House that were going to vote for impeachment, there was this sort of feeling that this sentiment was sweeping on both sides, that Mitch McConnell was open to this idea of impeachment. In the end, the numbers looked basically like they looked last time around. 10 members of the GOP ended up voting for this, and 2/3 voted to question the results of the election. And obviously that has, you know, had some backlash. But my question for you is, you know, where is the Republican Party at this point? Is it the party of Trump? Because we're looking at these numbers that show, given everything that's happened, still tremendous support for President Trump. And I want you to listen to what some of these folks said at that event who were outside of it. Watch this.
Will you ever support any of the Republicans who are not standing up for the president right now?
No, absolutely not.
This is the Trump party. Those guys are done.
It's a new party. The Republican Party, in my opinion, is dead.
2022 is going to be a brutal year for you, and every race for dog catcher, for state legislature, for any judge is going to be a bloodbath for the establishment Republican.
Do you think that's true?
Well, Martha, clearly the president has tremendous support over the last 4 years in the things that he's done. You know, you look at where the country is right now. It's a divided country already, and it was like that before the election. But there are millions of people who are disgusted by what they saw, like I was last week in the Capitol. The anarchists had broken the Capitol. Those millions of people that were disgusted by that also are passionate conservatives who love this country and love the conservative values that make our country great. And frankly, the policies that the president carried through the last 4 years to rebuild our economy, to rebuild our military, to stand up to ISIS around the world and other terrorist organizations. You know, those are the things that they really wanted to see: border security. You know, and again, the president got fair trade deals. All of those things are things that matter to hardworking families. The middle class that was leaving our country. Look at all the companies that had left America for years and years. And finally, those companies started coming back. Those middle-class jobs started coming back with low taxes, with regulations that actually made sense. That's what matters to hardworking families. That's what we as a Republican Party need to continue focusing on, and that's fighting for the hardworking families that make this country great.
I think that's very true. But I think my question is also, you know, how much, looking at these polling numbers, looking at the fact that 2/3, which was a huge number, objected to certifying the Electoral College of the United States. That was a very bold move. And I don't know if they all would have done that if they didn't feel like they had to do that to hold on to their seats in some cases. So how much does President Trump, how much is it still the party of Donald Trump? Is it his party going into 2022? Will he have a lot of influence on those races, as that man said?
Well, the President Trump's still going to have a lot of influence, and you can see the people that followed him. He put out a video last night that the mainstream media still won't show, where I thought he touched on some very important notes about unequivocally decrying what happened last week. It's got over 5 million hits on social media, yet the mainstream media won't even show it. And so, you know, that again, that's part of the cancel culture, where there are still people that are watching, you know, and really looking at that message all the time. But if you look at the vote last week, there's a totality that goes with that vote for those of us who did vote both against what happened in Arizona and Pennsylvania, and that was that they didn't follow their legislative guidelines. The legislature sets the tone. The Constitution, by the way, says this. The U.S. Constitution says it's legislative bodies that set the rules for elections in federal races for president. And a few of those states went around their legislative bodies, which is, again, against the Constitution. That used to mean something.
Understood. And, and we talked about those situations quite a bit here.
And by the way, in 2005, there were over 100 Democrats who did not vote to certify Ohio. Over 100 Democrats who did not vote to certify Ohio. They weren't called seditionists. They did that. Over 30 of them voted against Ohio specifically. 80 Democrats didn't even vote. They literally took a walk on the vote.
Point well taken. Before I let you go, I want to play this because this is sort of, the pressure that's on a lot of members of the House who took the same votes that you did. And it came across in a way that I know caught your attention because you retweeted this. This is Jake Tapper. And watch this about Congressman Brian Mast.
Congressman Brian Mast, a Republican from Florida, who lost his legs, by the way, fighting for democracy abroad. Although I don't know about his commitment to it here in the United States.
Representative Mast responded to that. He said, I lost 2 legs for Jake Tapper's right to say whatever the hell he wants. But that free speech also protects Republicans. He's so eager to condemn for asking constitutional questions about the election. And Tapper, went back and defended his position with regard to that on Twitter as well. Thought on that before I let you go tonight, sir?
Martha, that was a disgraceful comment. Jake Tapper needs to just apologize, admit what he said was wrong. I'm dear friends with Brian Mast. Brian Mast and I went to Walter Reed Hospital and worked out with wounded warriors. Brian lost 2 legs fighting for this country. To question his love for this country and his commitment to this country when he literally lost his 2 legs and lost some fingers as a bomb squad technician fighting for our freedoms. He owes Brian Mast an apology. Brian Mast is the kind of person that makes this country great. He's an American hero. And Jake really should just apologize and drop it.
Representative Steve Scalise, good to have you here tonight, sir. Thank you very much.
Great being with you. Thanks.